Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror. So today we are joined by the amazing Sean Whalen and the beautiful Rebekah Kennedy. Rebekah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys? Thanks so much for having us.
So much better now.
Yeah, and how are you doing, Sean?
I'm doing great as I have my emotion. I'm my cat's emotional support animal.
Right.
So
the emotional
when he
person.
travels, I have to wear the vest.
Yes.
Right. Very ESP, emotional support person. So
yes, Jasper. Yes, Jasper, my cat. I'm doing well. I got a little bit of a sore throat, but I'm good.
Yeah. So, and we're all there too.
Yeah,
it's the changing of the season.
Yes, dry the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's sick after Halloween. That's my theory. I'm holding to it.
Well, it's because we're also, our immune systems are so worn down and depressed because it's the best time of the year's over.
Yeah.
And the candy and fun adult items that we've consumed.
Yes.
True.
Dad tax. We call that dad tax here.
Yes.
So, we were very lucky to go to Scarefest. So we got to meet Sean, his beautiful wife.
Yeah.
And we started to talk about Crust. And at that moment, we knew we wanted to check this movie out. We wanted to be a part of this. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we do that, I want to let everybody know I have both of these amazing people's social media links down in the description. So make sure you're following them on Instagram so you can get up to the minute updates about Crust when you can own it on physical media, which I believe will be in December. And this is something you guys are going to want to check out. You're going to have a lot of fun with this.
Absolutely. So Rebekah, let's start with you. How did you get involved with this project?
So I've known Sean for a while. We had the same manager at some point. We were in a movie together called Street Level, but didn't have any scenes, but we kind of knew each other. We were acquaintance friends, I guess. It's like one of those where, he would come to my birthday parties, I would go to his, we were kind of like that, running in that crowd. But we didn't really hang out a lot, one-on-one or as couples. We just, were kind of getting into being friends. And this was like 2016, right, Sean? That they did a table read for Crust. And initially he had asked me to play a smaller role in it. And, I was happy to be a part of it in any capacity. So I was like, yes, happy to, come read. And the night before, the actress who was supposed to play my role, Neela, couldn't make it. And so he just asked, if I could step in and read for the role on the day. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Knowing full well, like, this is not my role, but I'll go in and have fun and just, see if we can connect and just, see what happens. Yeah. And I just love the script. I love the character so much. I connected to her. I thought she was unique and quirky and way cooler than me. And just, I just like, it was just so much fun.
I can confirm that Neela is cooler than Rebekah Kennedy.
It's true. So, we read that night, and for whatever reason, there was just like a connection there. There was just a chemistry that was kind of built in. Like, we both, play a lot younger than we look, and we often play kind of weird, quirky, off-ball characters. And so we just kind of understood each other in that way. And, there were some iterations of the film as time went on, but I kind of just, I don't know, I let it go because I was like, it's probably not going to be me. Yeah. And then December of 2022, Sean called me and he was like, hey, we're making the movie in May. Will you be Neela? And I was like, yes, I would love to. And so we spent, 3 months rehearsing in an acting class and working on it together. And that's how I got involved. And I'm so thankful to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I don't want her to minimize the chemistry that she had, not just with me, but with the part.
Yeah.
She brought, my wife after 2016 literally said, when we were driving home, she goes, Rebekah is Neela, right? And I said, well, it's too early. She goes, I'm telling you, she's Neela. And she always fought for me for years. And what's beautiful is now that we've become much closer friends. Now, Sheena and Rebekah are very close, very good friends, book nerds together. And
awesome.
So it was interesting. It wasn't just our chemistry. It was, she understood this woman really. Right. So it was fantastic to see.
And she has a very kissable forehead.
She has a very kissable forehead. Yeah, we got to tell that story. So
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
No, we're doing a live event to kind of raise money for Crust. And someone said, "You have a big forehead." And we both look at each other and like, which one? Like, what are you talking?
That wasn't originally in the script, and then we were like,
No, that wasn't in the script. And so we were laughing. And then was it that? Did you come up with that, or did our acting coach Greg come up with that?
I don't remember. I mean, we'll give Greg the credit because I don't want to take it if I'm wrong.
But I
just remember we were like, we
Take
have to
the
put that in the
credit.
script. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it.
Well, the kissable forehead was in the script, but the
Yeah.
large target,
Large target was not.
large
Yeah.
target was not, and that's what our acting coach came up with. But yeah,
Yeah.
kissable forehead was always it. And little did I know, I had a very large palette to work with,
Thank you,
Well, and
Sean.
what's amazing about this too,
and me
like,
too.
this is such a great cast that comes along with this movie, you know, because you
Yeah.
have Alan Ruck in this, you have Felissa Rose, obviously, who's horror royalty, you have Daniel Roebuck,
Mhm.
and then something we got to throw out there too with 6 Degrees, because Ashley's favorite horror movie is The People Under the Stairs.
It
So
is.
obviously, Sean, you being in this is huge.
Yes.
But Brandon Adams also had a role in this movie, who, as we know, was Fool in The People
Yeah.
Under the Stairs. So
He was listed as one, but unfortunately, when it was time to do his little cameo at the end, if you saw Jan Birch, he wasn't able to do it.
okay,
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
see, because we saw at the end, and I was like, wait a minute, because we were looking.
He
for
was,
Yeah.
yeah, he contributed and stuff, but he wasn't able to do the shoot.
Mhm.
So
Well, still,
yeah, it was a
you
bummer.
guys-
But
you
yeah,
guys
if
still
you
had a super amazing cast.
Yeah.
but did you see Jan Birch in there in the credits? If you watch all the way, Jan Birch, said, does his thing about I got another sock. So I wanted to honor both movies in my credits. So I honored Wendell
Yes.
Joseph from Twister and Jan
Yeah.
from People on the Stairs. Yeah.
That's so great.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, Sean, what do you do to get into character?
This is a very zany character
Yes,
that you're playing.
It is.
It was the main thing was I understood the depression part. I wrote this after a depression and an anxiety episode that lasted several months after my divorce, and I had anger afterwards, and I just didn't know why I was angry. I didn't know if it was the time wasted. I certainly wasn't angry at my ex-wife. I wasn't angry at my kids. It just was such a weird feeling. And that's how it kind of came out of me. So when it was time to act a part, as there's a central physical scene that you guys know about that and everything kind of hinged on that, which was, is this pre that moment or post that moment? Because what happens, everything changes in that moment. Neela leads me to coming out of it through getting back to who I was and that kind of thing. And you slowly, so you'll see my clothes start to change after that moment. The sweats start to go away and stuff like that. So a lot of the time it was, oh, is this pre that moment or not? Okay, sad clothes, sad act.
Right.
And then afterwards I had to calibrate it more as I get through, each thing. And then, there's parts where, as you see, Vegas gets angry. And that was part of the stuff that's like, how dare you,
Right.
you don't know what I've been through,
I make my decisions.
Yeah, right. So I think the most zany part, I think, was Rebekah and I did not get together. And this was per Greg, our acting coach. Greg Binkley, look him up. He was on Raising Hope, and he's amazing. He's been around forever. But he was our acting coach, and he didn't want me to work on that last scene with Rebekah. He just said to Rebekah, you're terrified, go on your way. And then he worked with me, and we played around. And I came up during the rehearsal with, the kind of hand thing at the end. And then, but a lot of stuff came right in that moment. Like I didn't know I was going to, put both my hands there. I didn't know.
You were gonna almost kill me.
Yeah.
Well,
Which is a very scary moment too, especially the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that was improvised too. That was one of those things. And then the other thing that, the large target that we talked about, that was all improvised as well. Like I didn't know I was going to say at the very end of the movie. And when I watch it again in a San Francisco screening, and it's really fun to see Rebekah's face when I do that, because she didn't know I was going to do that. She's like, she's so pissed.
Wow, that was
Yeah, it was really not cool.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, it's so extreme too.
Yeah.
Because there, and again, guys, we're trying to be a spoiler free.
Yes.
I know, it's so hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this moment, there's like this anger and rage that hasn't been there because of betrayal. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's all these betrayals that are coming together into one, that are all getting lumped up into one giant laundry ball of betrayal.
Yeah.
So
But
like
that-
that's what I think is so unique about the ending of this movie is you have the twist that comes along with that, but
Yeah.
why we twist into the directions that we twist in terms
Yeah,
of
and right. People, well, I think it's also, I think when you are sad, depressed, and anxious, you think, I send a text, right? And let's say I was going in through it with, Felissa was there through that part of my life, and she was very helpful and solid and very kind. But like I'd text her, let's say, and then she wouldn't text me for an hour or two. Well, when you're in that space, you're like, she hates
What did
me.
I do?
Shouldn't have sent that.
Right.
What did I do? All that
Yep.
stuff. I mean, my main thing, if anyone's ever had this issue, is during my anxiety attack scene, did it seem real? But literally, I just did my greatest hits of anxiety. Like I was checking my pulse and trying to do my intention and all the stuff that I did, like rubbing my hands because my hands are always sweaty and, all that stuff that really happened to me during all the anxiety attacks and stuff. But I think you feel betrayed by people in your head.
Right.
Before
You
they've
know what
ever
I
done
mean?
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't done
Always go
anything,
to
but
the
you feel
worst
like,
scenario.
yeah, especially when you're angry and looking out for blame, you
Brother,
just
I wrote that country song. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know how that goes.
Yes.
Rebekah,
Any human being on the planet knows that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
When
obviously
you
we
hurt
want
your
to keep
own
this as
feelings.
spoiler free as we can, but
Yes.
Rebekah, what do you think? What can you tell us non-spoiler about your character?
Oh yeah, it's hard, right?
There is depth to Neela, but we don't want to get too deep
right.
with her
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, that's what I connected with her because I understand. I mean, don't we all the maybe not everyone, but most of people I think have a desire to be seen and to feel important and to feel loved ultimately. And I think that's what I could connect to her, and my way into her was that. And it's so funny when, not to give anything away, but when he wrote the script, obviously that was back in 2016, 2015, whenever he wrote it. And I had that line about 1,000 followers. Back then that would have been a lot.
Right.
Right.
And I love that you didn't update it, because when we saw it at the premiere, people laughed at that line, and I didn't think it was funny when we were shooting, but when we were watching it, I was like, it is funny because that's nothing, right? That's nothing now compared to what people have now. Back then that would have been a lot. But it's like, that to her, that is the world, right? Of like just someone out there like thinking that she is doing something important, and whether or not it's right or wrong how she goes about it, she ends up connecting to Paul Vegas in a real way that she didn't expect, which I think is like an interesting way of like when you put yourself out there, you don't really know what you're going to get back. And I liked that about her. I liked that there was more than one layer, that she was someone that had been through, not to give too much away, but that she had been through it and had come out the other side, and was wanting to genuinely help someone else come through it too, because there is light at the end.
And I think after we find out some of her backstory as well, and how dark things have gotten for her in her past, it's easy to see why that switch flipped when it did.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm purposely being super vague just so you guys go watch
Yeah.
the film. The best thing to do though, guys, is to check out the trailer. And I know what you're thinking, Ken, we're watching an interview. We can't go watch the trailer. Well, sure you can, because we're going to play that trailer for you right now, guys. So here is the trailer for Crust.
Tinseltown is attempting to reboot another 90s sitcom.
Randy Roberts is behind the reboot of A Baker's Dozen, but the whereabouts of his co-star Vegas are unknown.
Aren't you going to do that show?
Everybody who said they loved me and supported me left me alone as soon as that show ended.
It's our anniversary.
It's over! No more anniversaries!
Excuse me, Paul? I'm Neela, by the way. Take care of yourself.
Because there are a few nice people who give a shit.
Just feels like I'm stuck here forever.
Vegas was finally located by a lucky phone filmmaker.
There is no sock monster!
Explain this.
It's a sock. What should I call you?
And now you guys have also seen the trailer for Crust.
Yes. So Sean, we love practical effects here at Sledgehammer Horror. What was it like for you doing things so practically?
Well, we wanted to do it for budgetary reasons. VFX is quite expensive. And I wanted the experience of the sock monster to be something real in real time. Rebekah can tell you that it's hard to act against a tennis ball on a stick or a little, green screen something covered. So we wanted that, and so the sock monster was made by Eric Porn, who is the special effects supervisor for MTV's Teen Wolf, right?
Okay.
And so that was, but he and I met on the movie Laid to Rest years ago that was filmed in Maryland. And he was the one who suggested that it should be cute, because I was going to have a guy in a sock suit. But as I kept going, I kept on telling him, it's like, I don't know, like a big, Toxic Avenger sock covered guy. It's just not really, I'm not feeling it. He said, why don't you do a cute, like half of Oogie Boogie's head sticking out of a basket? I went, oh my God. So then we used that model, and some of the first pictures we took were literally piles of socks with just little black ones for the eyes. And then he made it. It sat in my office, in my closet for several years, only because in 2016 we tried to launch the movie and it didn't work. We didn't really have enough idea of what Indiegogo was like and how it works, and how to get engagement. And so then we went on from there, and Crust just sat in my closet forever. And I met a couple of other producers along the way, and they didn't really mesh with me until Felissa Rose and Daniel Kearney. And, we raised a good amount of money, but we certainly didn't have enough for the VFX. And I wanted the sock monster to be used. And some of the investors were like, we're not going to pay that much money for a puppeteer. But the girl, Rachel Burson, who manned Crust, she was just so fabulous that I had her do a little video of Crust reacting to all these things. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you, I feel like you're frustrated. And I sent that little video to the investors, and they were like, oh, give that woman what she wants.
Right.
because
Perfect.
again, if it's not going to work between me, Rebekah, and Crust, then the movie doesn't work.
Right.
That's the movie, and those relationships have to be good. And both me and Rebekah had amazing, I was there the first night. My first night was just, a lot of lotion and a lot of and a lot of scenes with Crust. And I couldn't wait for Rebekah to get there the next night. And we had done a scene or two, and then finally there was a scene with Crust, and Rebekah's face when we did the rehearsal, watching Crust peek around the corner, because it's our intimacy scene, and I'm just like, Crust, her face was just amazed. She was so amazed.
I know. I was like, oh yeah, I have to remember that I have seen him already. This is not the first time. Because I was like, like in my, real life, just like, oh my God. And I'm like, wait, I can't do that because I know he exists. So,
Well,
but
Rachel was so
she was
good.
amazing.
Yeah. And it made so much more sense to do it the way you did it, because I couldn't imagine some of the intimate scenes, and I don't mean sexual, guys, by any stretch,
Right.
of you and Crust being a
Right.
big, Toxie like thing from the
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely worked with
Yeah.
him being cuter, and for sure. I think.
Oh, the number one request is for Crust plushies.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes,
number one.
Please.
we'll buy a yes.
We would
Yeah.
totally buy
It's
one.
like
Heck
ET,
yeah.
if you
Yeah.
didn't love
Yes.
ET, it's like, you gotta fall in love with this character too. And you do, regardless of that he's doing bad things or not, you're like, but he's so cute.
Right.
Well, that's the funny thing is at the last screening I had, people said, "Oh, and I want Crust in my house," and I said, "Oh, I'm making a Crust plushie," and I showed them the picture of the plushie, and they're like, "No, we want Crust in our house. We want Crust to love us and take care of our problems."
Right.
Yes,
Right.
for real. I would love a Crust.
Yeah.
Take care of the
Teenage me had enough to make Crust for sure.
Yeah.
I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
So
As well as my sweat and blood and stuff. As you saw.
and
right.
tears.
and
Yes.
blue tears,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
Rebecca, what can everyone expect out of this film?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think they can expect a zany, fun, funny, but also heartfelt look at mental health, at relationships, at life and love, and living every moment to the fullest as much as you can. And also just like a really fun ride at the end of the day. I love the end song, the rap. Every time I've watched the
amazing.
film so far, it's a great ending, and you're like, wow, that's just a really fun film. But also has a lot of heart to it as well, and that's one of the reasons as an actor I wanted to sign on. So I hope people have fun watching it.
And guys, like we said, it's going to be streaming on VOD next week. Please make sure you're following Sean and Rebekah. Their Instagram links are down in the description. Sean is going to be hosting an online watch party, so make sure you guys are following him so you can stay up to date on how you can be a part of that. Sean, Rebekah, please don't go anywhere. We got a couple more questions for you. Everyone else, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
Keep your beer out of the laundromat. And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.